What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So if you've been following me for a bit now, you'll know that this is a new background. I decided to go from the desk over there to the couch over here. And if you guys want me to go back to the desk for whatever reason, let me know and I will get my ass back over there. But on a real note, thank you guys for all the support you showed in 2020. This is the first video for 2021. And what I wanted to do was talk about a stock, a penny stock specifically, that I've been watching for the past couple weeks, and I finally decided to start a position in them last week. And I wanted to bring it to your guys' attention because I think it has some long-term value. Now, obviously it's a penny stock, so this is definitely a speculative stock, and you should definitely do your own research because there's a lot of risk that comes with penny stocks. So I just want to put that out there and make sure you guys are doing your own research. That is so important. Now, the penny stock that we'll be talking about today is Humbl Pay, and they do currently trade under the ticker symbol TSNP, which is Tesoro Enterprises, and that's because they just completed a reverse merger to go public using them, and it does trade on the OTC. They are in the process of changing their ticker symbol, so I'll keep you guys updated on that, but that's really all you guys need to know from a stock standpoint. Now, this is a company that does operate in the fintech space, so they do compete against the giants like Venmo, Square, and PayPal, but make sure to stick around through the entire video because I'm going to be breaking down why they are a little bit different from them and why they don't directly compete with them in the markets that they're targeting. So if this sounds like a company that you guys are interested in, then be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel because it helps support me in a massive way. And I really do appreciate all of you guys that are in the thumbs up squad. You guys comment, you're in the Discord, you're bringing all this value to the channel. I do appreciate it. And if you're already subscribed and you already liked the video, then you guys are the real MVPs. So let's get into it. All right, so first I'm going to start with the three biggest competitors in the fintech space because I can already see the comments coming in saying these three giants are going to push out Humbl and that's why I'm not investing in them. So I want to set the stage first before we go into Humbl's business model, just so you can understand why Humbl is so different than these guys. So first on the list is Venmo. Why are they not a competitor to Humbl, you may ask? Well, they only operate in the United States and with US-based banks. Next is PayPal, and while they are definitely the closest competitor to Humbl, there are a few key differences between them, which we'll get into in just a second. Then there's also Square, which is only available in the United States, Canada, Japan, Australia, and the United Kingdom. So like 5 out of the roughly 200 countries in the world. And I really think that this statement from the CEO, Brian Foote, really sums this up the best. We didn't build Humbl for the 450 million digital customers using Apple Pay, but for the 7 billion people for whom money has a totally different set of global pathways, access points, and cost structures. So I think you guys get where I'm heading with this. So Humbl is still an early stage fintech startup that provides users with a new digital way to use money. Now, the biggest difference that separates them from the other fintech companies like Venmo and Square is that they are targeting markets like Africa, Latin America, and Asia Pacific that remain unserved by these existing players. Humbl will allow you to send, receive, exchange, and borrow money at up to an estimated 50% savings versus competitors, in this case, PayPal. And real quick before moving on, if any of you guys watching this video live in any of these markets that Humbl's targeting, please do let us know in the comments section if you think you guys would benefit from a service like Humbl, because the value that you guys bring from these markets is so much bigger than what I'm talking about on video because you guys are the targets for Humbl. So if you specifically live in any of these target markets, then definitely let us know in the comment section because we will all appreciate that. So Humbl has a few key products that I want to cover. First is the Humbl mobile wallet, which is basically just a digital wallet very similar to Venmo or PayPal, and it allows users to store, transfer, and receive money from other people. Now, one quick thing to mention that is very important is the ability for users to store their money in USD stablecoins, which help protect them from currency fluctuations. Essentially, a USD stablecoin is just a digital coin that's backed by $1 and can be transferred anywhere with no fees. The reason this is important is because many countries that Humbl is targeting have volatile currencies that can see their value drop by up to 25%. Meanwhile, the USD is considered a pretty stable currency. Then there's the big one, which is Humbl Hubs, and this allows businesses to have a point of sale QR code that enables merchants in majority cash environments to have a digital form of payment and money transfer. This feature is very similar to what Square provides for small businesses here in the United States. So from a high-level overview, Humbl Hubs is basically their all-in-one customer-to-merchant solution. On this platform, you have the ability to discover new merchants, find specific merchants that you may have already used, read and post reviews, text orders directly to the merchants, make contactless payments, the ability to split payments and bills with friends, and finally the ability to make social connections with others using this merchant. This really streamlines the process for customers like us because traditionally you'd have to use several apps to complete all of these steps, but with Humbl you don't need all those apps. Now let me give you an analogy just to make it even more simple. Imagine if you wanted to go out to eat with your friends. You might first go on to Yelp or Google to read reviews and find a place. Then you finally get there, you make the payments, you eat the food, then you gotta open up Venmo, you gotta Venmo your friend, whatever the bill was, or they Venmo you. Then you gotta transfer the money from Venmo to your bank, and if you don't wanna wait a couple days, then you have to pay a fee. So if you get what I'm saying, there's a lot of different apps that go into just one transaction, and what Humbl does is they streamline all of this into one place that the customers and the merchants can go to. So this is definitely a great way of integrating all of the steps that go into completing a transaction. Now, on the merchant side, this is important, especially in emerging markets, because this provides merchants a seamless way of accepting foreign currency that can then be converted into their native currency for much cheaper than traditional currency exchanges, especially in areas where tourism is big with people from all over the world traveling with different currencies. So what I'm going to do now is switch gears, and I want to talk about the management team because this is obviously really important, especially with the penny stock. And then I'm going to get into the product roadmap and future growth for 2021. So Humbl is comprised of a diverse set of founders with experience at companies like Western Union, MoneyGram, American Express, Visa, Facebook, and many other tech giants, which I personally love to see because they'll be bringing a ton of experience and contacts with them from the financial industry. Now, the CEO of Humbl is a gentleman named Brian Foote, and he was actually an early investor and advocate for cryptocurrencies back before people became rich off Bitcoin. And this has, of course, led him to become sort of a rock star in the crypto community. Now, full disclaimer, I'm not a big crypto person. That's just what I found from my research online. Now, more importantly, he was also the senior vice president of a consulting firm that did work with many Fortune 500 companies like Amazon, Best Buy, Costco, Walmart, and Target, and also worked to drive channel and merchant sales, which led him to doing market research for Humbl and the emerging markets they now target. And one last thing, of course, to note is that he was recently featured in a Forbes article as the CEO of a startup to watch in 2021. Of course, that startup being Humbl. So definitely a strong management team with a lot of experience from several different major fintech companies. And that's honestly one thing that I love to see, especially when we're talking about a penny stock, is I want to see them coming from big companies where they have a ton of experience and a ton of contacts. Now, let's get into product roadmap and the 2021 growth because they do lay out both of these pretty clear what they're working on. So looking at Humbl's product roadmap, on the consumer side, they currently have the ability to send, request, receive, and exchange money, as well as holding money in USD stablecoins. For the merchant side, they have features like text orders, contactless payments, ratings and reviews, and also CRM features, and the marketplace currently up and running. Now, still in development is the ability to earn interest on stored money, and they're actually already in negotiations with a third party for this, so be on the lookout for that. But they're also working on the bill pay feature, card services, and investment options. So there's still a ton of features and products that are still in development and will only add to the robust list of uses for Humbl. Now, looking at their growth strategy heading into the new year, they recently completed the reverse merger with Tesoro Enterprises and will be requesting an OTC ticker change later this quarter to change it to HMBL. Now, in Q1 of this year, they are also planning to start testing their products in the United States and Latin America, while also looking for new merger and acquisition deals to further improve their product offering. Then in Q2, they'll be launching their product globally with regions including the US, Latin America, Africa, and the Asia Pacific region, as well as an official audit of their finances, which will be really good for investors to take a look at. And finally, for the back half of the year, they're going to continue working on partnerships with government entities, banks, and merchants with a Humbl shareholder conference taking place in Q4. So there's a ton of stuff coming down the pipeline for just 2021. Now, to answer the question that maybe some of you guys are wondering, why am I deciding to invest in a stock that's only 15 cents? And why do I believe that this company can reach not only millions, but billions of people? Well, if we look at this chart showing the user base of competitors, we can see that Venmo has about 40 million users, Google Pay has 150 million, PayPal has 360 million, and Apple Pay has 440 million users. But the world population is almost 8 billion people. That's a whole lot of people being underserved by what we consider here in the United States to be the fintech giants. Now, I'm sure there's going to be some people in the comments section that say, well, why can't any of these fintech giants just come in and push Humbl out the way? My answer to that is, well, you're right, they definitely could, but why aren't they? Maybe it's because it's too expensive to go out and expand into new markets and acquire new customers, or maybe they just don't care. But let's be honest, if any of these big fintech giants wanted to expand into this new market, they're probably going to look to acquire a company like Humbl, who in just a few years' time is going to have millions of users. So it's probably going to be much cheaper to just go and acquire Humbl, get the users that Humbl's already acquired, and then expand that way. I could definitely see that being a likely outcome, and I think that's more probable than Humbl not being able to gain at least a little bit of market share in these regions. And that's why I've decided to buy just a couple thousand shares, which really isn't much, especially when it's 15 cents, but it really accounts for about 1% of my portfolio. So like I said, I don't have a lot of risk in this stock. If I lost 1%, then all right, I guess I lost 1%. But the upside potential is definitely in favor of what I believe to be pretty good. Now, obviously, this is a company that has a ton of risk, especially with execution. I would say that's probably the biggest risk. But if they can execute, I think this company has the potential to be a multi-billion dollar company further down the road. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to let me know down in the comment section what you guys think of Humbl and whether or not this is something you're going to be adding to your watch list. And if you haven't already, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel because there's a lot more content coming and it really also helps support the channel. So thank you guys for watching. Welcome to the new year 2021, and I will catch you guys on the next one.